Excellencies, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the chairmanship of the Netherlands of the OSCE Forum for Security Cooperation, it is a great pleasure and honor to welcome all of you today on the occasion of the 7th High-Level Military Doctrine Seminar. It is my pleasure to share this opening session with General Tom Middendorp, Chief of Defense of the Netherlands Armed Forces, and General Ottmar Commenda, Chief of Defense Staff of the Austrian Armed Forces, who will be delivering opening addresses during this session. European security has faced and is facing a multitude of challenges since we last met in this format 5 years ago. Unfortunately, under these circumstances, regular high-level military-to-military contacts have decreased significantly. It is therefore important and significant that we have gathered today with such high-level participation from the armed forces and ministries of OSCE participating states and partners for cooperation to discuss doctrinal changes and their impact on defense structures in the context of the current security situation. This in itself is a notable achievement and a step in the right direction. The aim of this seminar is to reinvigorate dialogue, exchange experiences, views and ideas, to foster greater mutual understanding and building of confidence. I don't think anyone present here is under the illusion that this is an easy task, but it is a task that we in the OSCE simply have to take on. It is the recommendation of the Vienna Document to hold periodic high-level military doctrine seminars to foster transparency and mutual confidence in the spirit of this cornerstone OSCE document. With a view to the planned update of the Vienna Document this year, as well as to the challenges faced by existing arms control and confidence and security building regimes, it is our hope that participants of this seminar will use the opportunity to discuss and collect new ideas for overcoming these challenges together. As a chair, we wish to provide a platform for fostering cooperation and transparency during the upcoming 2 days to contribute to the building of sustainable stability and security on the territory of OSCE participating states and of our Asian and Mediterranean partners for cooperation. From the first food of thought papers on organizing the high-level military doctrine seminar, through discussing the modalities in various formats, as OSCE participating states, we have agreed together on the topics of this seminar to focus and reflect on the most prominent current European security concerns in the context of changing and evolving trends in formulating military doctrines. The groundwork for the sessions of the seminar will be provided by the keynote speakers and complemented by the reflections of the panelists. Again, we are pleased that we have gathered a very impressive lineup in this respect. Building on this, our prominent and highly knowledgeable moderators will engage all participants to stimulate a lively, interactive and creative debate. To make the most of this opportunity, I would like to encourage all delegations to actively engage in the discussions throughout this seminar. The Icebreaker Session last evening served as an opportunity for direct personal contacts between participants, and it is our hope that constructive dialogue during the upcoming sessions, as well as during the side event this evening at the Military History Museum, will serve to deepen these relationships. I would like to conclude my remarks by thanking all states and organizations that have contributed with ideas, high-level participants, speakers, panelists or moderators to bringing about this seminar. Let me also express our gratitude to the OSCE Secretariat and specifically the FSE Support Section, the Conference and Language Services, the Communication and Media Relations Section, and all those who have helped organize this event. I would like to specifically express our gratitude to the Austrian and German delegations who have organized the panel discussion and reception this evening at the prestigious Heeresgeschichtliches Museum, featuring a number of prominent and interesting speakers. I wish to thank you all, and without further ado, I now pass the floor to General Tom Middendorp, Chief of Defense of the Netherlands Armed Forces, to deliver his opening address. General, please.
Thank you, Ambassador Kopmels, and thank you for your invitation to speak here today. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues. In January last year, a story was published in the online magazine of the OSCE. A story entitled "The Piano." In the article, an OSCE staff member who had worked on various locations in eastern Ukraine recounted experiences that perfectly capture the work of the Special Monitoring Mission to Ukraine. The article included a photograph of aircraft wreckage. In the middle was a small black piano visible, a child's toy. This is what the OSCE staff member recalled, and I quote, "What we were doing was trying to find clues that would help the authorities identify those who perished. People who had no interest in the Crimea, the Donbass, or any other corner of Ukraine. They were innocent people, caught up in the lunacy of the situation. In a way, they represent all the innocent people who are still caught up in this lunacy. Like the airplane passengers, they have no real say. Working as a monitor can mean many things: facilitating dialogue, negotiating the tricky political waters of engagement with separatist groups, and above all, building relationships with the people of Ukraine. It can also mean witnessing events that will scare them forever, even if they do not yet realize it. But why the piano? The OSCE staff member asked himself. He recalled, and I quote again, "This photograph illustrated what was for me the most disturbing of all my memories of that day. The toy survived, the child did not. Why was that allowed to happen in Europe in 2014? Ladies and gentlemen, this is just one personal story of the many OSCE staff members. But this individual described what was on our minds at that time very precisely. How could this happen in Europe? Here we are today, on the occasion of the high-level military doctrine seminar in this beautiful city of Vienna, on the 16th of February 2016. The situation in Ukraine has undoubtedly sharpened our focus. So has the rhetoric of the Russian political leadership. And we can only conclude that the recent developments have adversely affected our security climate. Just look at the increased scale and scope of military exercises in Europe. Over the last few years, Russia has conducted huge military exercises, some involving tens of thousands of military personnel and a huge amount of military equipment. The frequency and scale of these exercises are disturbing, if not alarming, given the fact that many of these exercises, largely conducted in Europe, are what are referred to as no-notice or snap exercises. This type of exercises involves no notification, no warning in advance. At best, notification is given at the start of the exercise. Ladies and gentlemen, this current and frequent Russian practice of conducting large-scale snap exercises adds to the risk of unintended military incidents, if not conflicts. It also contributes to the general level of tensions. We all know that in a situation of cooperative security, we would have been informed about these exercises well in advance, under any circumstances. That is why, in order to protect our common security, NATO responded by taking measures to reassure our allies in the eastern part of our alliance. It ramped up its maneuvers and tripled the number of war games held. And I'm sure that many people could not have imagined these developments a decade ago. large-scale military exercises on European soil involving thousands of troops. Confrontation, division, trust being undermined. We can only ask ourselves the same question the OSCE staff member asked himself 2 years ago. Why is this being allowed to happen in Europe in 2016? In fact, our current relations are so tense and risky, I even hesitated for a moment when asked to come here today to address you. Because I figured, why bother to try to re-engage on Europe's security architecture? Yet, I also realized that it would be foolish to let the opportunity to speak here today pass me by. Because if we want to continue to ensure peace, stability and prosperity on this continent, we cannot ignore the issue and let Europe's security architecture erode further. For erosion has set in already. The commitments of Helsinki, to which we all subscribed, are under strain. One might argue that there is not one commitment of the Helsinki catalogue that has not been trampled upon lately. Yet we should all demonstrate a readiness to take each other's security interests into account, to take each other's security concerns seriously, and not label them as incorrect, inopportune, or politically motivated. Even if it requires sustained effort, patience, more patience, and dedication. Because in the end, all of us face a tangle of thorny problems that jeopardize our common goal. Our common goal of creating a security community from Vancouver to Vladivostok. Just as we all face common transnational security threats. Threats such as Islamist terrorism, organized crime, illegal migration, proliferation of weapons of mass destruction, cyber threats, drug trafficking, arms trafficking, and human trafficking. Given the complexity of these threats and the consequences, we cannot fight our enemies with the doctrine of the past. A new, multinational, multidimensional approach to security is needed. Unity is needed. Ladies and gentlemen, the OSCE is a crucial security organism, a sort of defensive ecosystem, if you like, because of its function as a multilateral forum for dialogue and negotiation. After all, with 40 years of experience, the OSCE knows what it takes to work towards cooperative security. It was the OSCE that contributed to the ending of the Cold War. And it was the OSCE that provided the normative framework for the post-Cold War system of cooperative security. By introducing the 1990 Charter of Paris and the 1999 Istanbul Document and fostering consensus around it. And the OSCE is still a fundamental for creating conditions for real dialogue and building trust. Its comprehensive approach, for instance, represents an opportunity. Conflicts, after all, do not revolve around the military component alone. They also involve issues like the values of human rights, the rule of law, and human freedom and dignity. Whatever is necessary to prevent divisions within society and whatever is necessary to foster a culture of tolerance and non-discrimination. However, the agreements concluded in Vienna aimed at building trust in the military sphere between our states are just as important. And I'm referring, of course, to the Treaty of Conventional Armed Forces in Europe, the Open Skies Treaty, and the OSCE-wide Vienna Document on confidence and security building measures. And let's take the last one as an example, the Vienna Document, as it is due to be revised this year. Through the Vienna Document, we all established rules for notification of any large-scale military activity, for military inspections, and for military transparency. And it worked. Every year, in mid-December, officials from all participating states gather in this city to exchange information. Information on our armed forces, our military organizations, our manpower levels, and our major weapon and equipment systems. We also share information on our defense planning and on our defense budgets during the year. Furthermore, we use the rules to make inspection visits. Last year, for instance, Latvia and Switzerland each conducted one inspection in northwestern Russia, while the Netherlands conducted an inspection in southwestern Russia, along the border with Ukraine. And Russia uses the Vienna Document on an equal basis for the purpose of that transparency, as was the case with an inspection of the Estonian Defence Forces in May last year. And over the years, the Netherlands has often welcomed Russian inspectors. And during one of the inspections, we even tried to teach our Russian colleagues how to ride bicycles and how to eat raw herring. Of course, not at the same moment. What I want to say is that the Vienna Document is much like a big toolbox, the perfect recipe for transparency and stability, with a high implementation rate and with, on average, 90 inspections and 45 evaluation visits conducted each year. Nonetheless, as we all know, the document is not fulfilling its purpose, as it is no longer fully in line with current insights and with the realities of today's security needs. It is with good reason that there are currently about 20 proposals and draft decisions under discussion in the OSCE Forum for Security Cooperation. Proposals including the lowering of thresholds for prior notifications of military activities, proposals for enhancing inspection quotas and evaluation visit quotas, proposals for the inclusion of information on naval forces, and proposals for the creation of OSCE inspections for clarification on military activities. In other words, quite a bit. So it seems about time to make some significant changes to our mutual arrangements. And I'm not talking about general guidelines, nor minor technical and procedural changes such as the ones implemented in the 2011 Vienna Document. I'm talking about more solid ground for future progress, progress that will increase predictability and can help us avoid escalation. Of course, I realize that this will ultimately depend on the political will and engagement of all participating states. Yet, I would like to ask, why not? Why not make meaningful changes? Why not tackle the modernization of the Vienna Document to start with? Why not increase mutual trust in the military field, no matter how deep our perceived disagreements? Ladies and gentlemen, last month, in his first address as OSCE chairperson in office, Frank-Walter Steinmeier said, "What will help us move forward are not just acknowledgements of the value of dialogue, but an actual dialogue, sincere and engaged, that does not hesitate to identify breaches of OSCE principles." A clear statement, and I could not agree more. Confidence and mutual trust can only be built through open and frank dialogue. And that's why I sincerely hope we can abide by our common rules, adapt these rules, and establish new rules where necessary. And let us take each other's security interests into account and listen carefully to each other's security concerns. Let us rebuild trust so that we can guard our precious ways of life to the benefit and well-being of our people, so that we can keep Europe secure in a less secure world, so that we will never have to ask ourselves again, why was this allowed to happen in Europe? Thank you.
Thank you very much, General Middendorp. And I now pass the floor to General Ottmar Commenda, Chief of Defense Staff of the Austrian Armed Forces, for the second keynote speech. Please go ahead.
Vielen herzlichen Dank. Sehr geehrte Frau Vorsitzende, Generäle, Exzellenzen, sehr geehrte Damen und Herren. Es ist mir heute hier eine besondere Ehre, Sie in der Hofburg in Wien zum 7. hochrangigen Militärdoktrinenseminar begrüßen zu dürfen. Was mich besonders freut, ist, dass es unter den Teilnehmern eine besonders hohe Anzahl an Generalstabschefs, stellvertretenden Generalstabschefs sowie hochrangigen Offizieren der OSZE-Teilnehmerstaaten gibt. Als Generalstabschef des OSZE-Sitzstaates Österreich ist es mir wichtig, neben der inhaltlichen Auseinandersetzung bei diesem Treffen auch auf den Wert der bilateralen Gespräche hinzuweisen und dabei einen Beitrag zum Motto des deutschen Vorsitzes Dialog erneuern, Vertrauen neu aufbauen, Sicherheit wiederherstellen zu leisten. Wien und die Hofburg sind seit dem Wiener Kongress traditioneller Tagungsort und Treffpunkt für Verhandlungen zu globalen und regionalen Abkommen sowie zur Ausgestaltung der Sicherheit Europas. Die erfolgreichen Atomverhandlungen mit dem Iran und die Syrien-Gespräche in Wien legen davon ein jüngeres Zeugnis ab. Gerade in diesen Tagen scheint ein Treffen zur Diskussion über die Sicherheit in Europa und im gesamten OSZE-Raum notwendiger denn je. Vielfach wurden in den vergangenen Jahren bewaffnete Konflikte, kriegerische Auseinandersetzungen und Anschläge zur Destabilisierung von Gesellschaften weitgehend als historisch abgetan. Jedoch führen uns aktuelle Ereignisse, insbesondere in und um die Ukraine, sowie die terroristischen Anschläge im Zentrum Europas, aber auch die Migrationskrise dramatisch vor Augen, dass die Sicherheit und Stabilität in unseren Staaten bedroht ist. Darüber hinaus haben diese Ereignisse zum Verlust des Vertrauens unter den Staaten geführt und bereits vergessene Trennlinien neu akzentuiert, sowie neue Spannungen auch zwischen den OSZE-Teilnehmerstaaten geführt. Geschätzte Damen und Herren, nachdem das Ziel dieses Seminars ist, Veränderungen in den Doktrinen und Auswirkungen auf die Verteidigungsstrukturen im Lichte der aktuellen Sicherheitssituation in Europa zu diskutieren, möchte ich einen kurzen Einblick in die österreichische Sichtweise geben. Die Ausarbeitung der sogenannten österreichischen Sicherheitsstrategie und die Neuplanung des österreichischen Bundesheeres führten im Jahr 2012 erstmalig zu einer Entwicklung von sicherheitspolitischen Umfeldszenarien, welche einen Zeitraum bis 2025 abbilden. Diese Szenarien sind die Grundlage für diese Strategie bis hin zu unserer Streitkräfteentwicklung. Stete Beobachtung und Beurteilung der Einflussfaktoren sollen neue Entwicklungen aufzeigen und etwaige zeitgerechte Änderungen in der Verteidigungsplanung ermöglichen. Das aktuelle verteidigungspolitische Trendszenario 2016 identifiziert 6 Faktoren mit höchster Relevanz für das System des sicherheitspolitischen Umfeldes Österreichs. Dieses umfasst erstens die Stabilität europäischer Nachbarregionen, zweitens die Rolle Russlands in Europa, drittens die zukünftige Rolle der NATO, viertens der Fortschritt in der EU-Integration und die Weiterentwicklung der gemeinsamen Sicherheits- und Verteidigungspolitik, fünftens die globale machtpolitische Entwicklung und sechstens die globale Konfliktentwicklung. Ohne jetzt genau auf diese Analyse der Trendszenarien eingehen zu wollen, wird 2016 für die österreichische Sicherheits- und Verteidigungspolitik vor allem die Stärkung der Resilienz Österreichs, unter anderem mit dem Ziel, ein gesamtstaatliches Lagezentrum aufzubauen, die Weiterentwicklung der Verteidigungsplanungen, das Festhalten am Ausbau der gemeinsamen Sicherheits- und Verteidigungspolitik, die Intensivierung von Kooperationen sowie schließlich das Erfordernis, vermehrt auch robustere Beiträge des Bundesheeres zur Umfeldstabilisierung zu leisten, von wesentlicher Relevanz sein. Welche Ableitungen können nunmehr für die aktuelle Streitkräfteentwicklung gezogen werden? Im letzten Jahr wurde von mir das militärstrategische Konzept 2015 verfügt. Gemäß diesem sind unsere Streitkräfte auf die Abwehr nicht konventioneller bzw. hybrider Angriffe auf Österreich sowie dem Treffen von Maßnahmen zur Cyberverteidigung auszurichten. Überdies gibt es das internationale Engagement unserer Streitkräfte auf einem hohen Niveau fortzusetzen. All das erfordert mit dem Ziel, als strategische Reserve der Republik agieren zu können. Ein in die Zukunft gerichteter Teil des militärstrategischen Konzeptes behandelt ebenso die weitere Entwicklung des von uns sogenannten österreichischen Bundesheeres der Zukunft. Ausgehend von der Bedrohungslage, dem abgeleiteten Fähigkeitsbedarf sowie den vorhandenen finanziellen Mitteln, und das ist in Österreich immer besonders wichtig, sollten die bereits vorhandenen Fähigkeiten des Bundesheers weiterentwickelt werden. Im Jahr 2016 gilt es unter anderem, den Teilprozess der Grundlagenplanungen, welcher in der Beurteilung von Einsatzszenarien und den Einsatzkonzepten mündet, durchzuführen. Geschätzte Damen und Herren, das Militär als ein Garant für Sicherheit wird immer mehr vor alleine nicht erfüllbare Herausforderungen gestellt, zumal sich das Bedrohungsbild um neue Formen der Konfliktaustragung erweitert und das Aufgabenfeld militärischer Streitkräfte im Inneren als auch Äußeren gewandelt hat. Um allen begegnen zu können, bedarf es nicht nur einer laufenden Anpassung der militärischen Konzepte und Doktrin, sondern auch einer engen internationalen Zusammenarbeit. Nicht zuletzt deswegen ist das Motto des diesjährigen OSCE-Vorsitzes, den Dialog zu erneuern, das Vertrauen aufzubauen und die Sicherheit wiederherzustellen, so bedeutsam. Aus österreichischer Sicht begrüßen wir diese Zielsetzung und werden, wo es uns möglich ist, dafür unsere Unterstützung anbieten. Offenheit und Transparenz sind elementare Bausteine jeglicher Vertrauensbildung. Das Wiener Dokument zu vertrauens- und sicherheitsbildenden Maßnahmen im Allgemeinen und der jährliche Informationsaustausch zur Verteidigungsplanung und Doktrin im Speziellen tragen hierzu wesentlich bei. Gerade in einer dynamischen sicherheitspolitischen Entwicklung steht neben der Politik auch das Militär vor Herausforderungen, sich mit aktuellen Bedrohungen auseinanderzusetzen und seine grundlegenden Richtlinien wie Strategien und Doktrin laufend anzupassen. Es stellt sich daher auch die Frage, ob das Zeitintervall von 5 Jahren nicht überdacht werden und in kürzeren Abschnitten hochrangige Kontakte und Gespräche von Militär zu Militär stattfinden sollten. Sehr geehrte Damen und Herren, ich werde aufgrund anderer Verpflichtungen nicht in der Lage sein, während des Seminars durchgehend anwesend zu sein und an dem Gedankenaustausch im vollen Umfang teilzunehmen. Ich denke, Sie bekommen ja alle mit, was in Österreich derzeit so eine Entwicklung läuft, vor allem an unseren Grenzen. Und ich möchte aber trotzdem Sie alle auffordern, heute Abend gemeinsam zu dem von Deutschland und Österreich veranstalteten Abendempfang im Heeresgeschichtlichen Museum zu kommen, der Podiumsdiskussion beizuwohnen und vor allem, was für mich ganz wichtig ist, Gelegenheit finden, möglichst viele Gespräche mit Kollegen, Kolleginnen zu führen. Abschließend möchte ich mich bei all denen, die für das Zustandekommen dieses Seminars einen maßgeblichen Beitrag geleistet haben und allen Teilnehmerinnen und Teilnehmern ein erfolgreiches Seminar sowie einen interessanten Aufenthalt in Wien wünschen. Dankeschön.
Thank you very much, and I wish to thank both General Middendorp and General Commenda for opening this seminar. And I would also like to thank the media for attending the opening session.